You've chosen to spend 2 hours exploring complete lore Kirby, and you've made the perfect choice for drifting off into peaceful sleep. Tonight, we're going to journey through a surprisingly deep and fascinating universe that exists behind those adorable, colorful games. From the pleasant hills of Dreamland to the farthest reaches of the cosmos, from ancient civilizations to timeless battles between good and evil, this is a full story of Kirby, told in a way that will gently guide you toward rest. Our story begins on a distant star called Planet Popstar, a world that looks like it was painted with watercolors and brought to life with pure happiness. This peaceful planet floats in space, shaped like a yellow star with 5 points, surrounded by rings and smaller celestial bodies. The most famous location on Planet Popstar is a country called Dreamland, a place where the grass is always green, the sky is always blue, and the trees bear delicious fruit year-round. Dreamland is home to many creatures, but none are more important to our story than a small, pink, round being named Kirby. When you first see Kirby, you might think he's just a simple creature, perhaps 8 inches tall, with stubby arms, red feet, and 2 oval eyes that always seem happy. But this innocent appearance hides one of the most powerful beings in the entire universe. Kirby lives in a small dome-shaped house in Dreamland, spending most of his days doing what he loves most, which is eating and taking naps. He has an appetite that seems impossible for someone so small, able to eat amounts of food many times his own size. But eating isn't just something Kirby enjoys. It's connected to his most amazing ability, the power to inhale enemies and copy their abilities. When Kirby opens his mouth wide, he can create a suction force powerful enough to pull in objects and enemies much larger than himself. Once something is inhaled, Kirby can either spit it out as a star-shaped projectile or swallow it. And when he swallows certain enemies, something remarkable happens. He gains their powers, transforming his appearance and abilities to match what he consumed. If Kirby swallows an enemy that uses fire, he becomes Fire Kirby, able to breathe flames and engulf himself in burning energy. If he inhales something with a sword, he becomes Sword Kirby, wielding a blade with surprising skill. There are dozens upon dozens of these copy abilities, each one giving Kirby different powers and changing his appearance in charming ways, usually by adding a special hat or accessory that matches the power. But where did Kirby come from? This question has puzzled the inhabitants of Dreamland since he first appeared. One spring day, Kirby arrived on a spring breeze, riding it on a star that fell from the sky. He simply showed up in Dreamland with no memory of where he came from or why he was there. The people of Dreamland welcomed him, charmed by his friendly nature and helpful attitude. Some say Kirby is a young member of an ancient race of star warriors, beings who travel the universe fighting evil wherever they found it. Others believe he might be something even more special, a positive incarnation of an ancient force that has existed since the beginning of time. The truth is that even Kirby himself doesn't know his origins, and he doesn't seem particularly concerned about finding out. He's happy living in the present, helping his friends and enjoying the simple pleasures of life. The ruler of Dreamland is King Dedede, a large penguin-like creature who lives in a castle on Mount Dedede. King Dedede is an interesting character because while he often acts as an antagonist to Kirby, he's not truly evil. He's more like a rival who sometimes makes selfish decisions. King Dedede carries a large wooden hammer that he swings with impressive strength, and he has the ability to inhale things just like Kirby, though not with the same copying power. King Dedede proclaimed himself king of Dreamland, though nobody actually elected him or gave him that authority. He just decided one day that he should be king, built himself a castle, and started acting like royalty. Most of the time, the citizens of Dreamland don't mind because King Dedede, despite his flaws, does care about Dreamland in his own way. The first major conflict between Kirby and King Dedede happened when the king decided to steal all the food in Dreamland for himself. He and his Waddle Dee servants, small orange creatures who loyally serve the king, took all the food and stored it in his castle. The people of Dreamland were left hungry and desperate. This is when Kirby stepped forward as a hero for the first time. Kirby traveled across Dreamland, through green fields, past sparkling lakes, and over tall mountains to reach King Dedede's castle. Along the way, he encountered various enemies and obstacles, using his inhaling ability to overcome challenges. When he finally confronted King Dedede, they had an epic battle in a boxing ring the king had built in his castle. Kirby emerged victorious, and the food was returned to the people. After this first adventure, King Dedede would return many times, sometimes as an antagonist who needed to be stopped, sometimes as a rival who just wanted to prove he was better than Kirby, and sometimes even as an ally when greater threats appeared. Despite their rivalry, there's a mutual respect between Kirby and King Dedede, and deep down, they might even be friends. Another important figure in Dreamland is Meta Knight, a mysterious warrior who hides his face behind a silver mask. Meta Knight is roughly the same size as Kirby, but carries himself with the dignity and seriousness of a seasoned warrior. He wears a dark blue cape that can transform into bat-like wings, allowing him to fly, and he wields a golden sword called Galaxia with incredible skill. Meta Knight's relationship with Kirby is complex. Sometimes he appears as an opponent, testing Kirby's abilities in combat. Other times he acts as a mentor, pushing Kirby to become stronger. And when Dreamland faces its greatest threats, Meta Knight stands alongside Kirby as an ally. He follows a strict code of honor, always ensuring his battles are fair. When he challenges Kirby, he often provides him with a sword to make the fight equal. The most intriguing thing about Meta Knight is what lies beneath his mask. On the rare occasions when his mask breaks or falls off, we see a face that looks remarkably similar to Kirby's, though dark blue instead of pink. This has led many to speculate that Meta Knight and Kirby might be the same species, perhaps even related in some way. Meta Knight might be an older, more experienced member of Kirby's race, one who has seen the darkness of the universe and chosen to become a warrior to fight against it. Meta Knight commands a massive airship called a halberd, a flying battleship armed with cannons and lasers. The halberd's crew consists of various creatures, including Captain Bull, a bird who serves as Meta Knight's second-in-command, Sailor Waddle Dee, who helps pilot the ship, and Axe Knight, Javelin Knight, Mace Knight, and Trident Knight, who serve as Meta Knight's loyal warriors. Once, Meta Knight decided that Dreamland had become too lazy and peaceful. He believed the inhabitants needed to be stronger to face future threats. So he attempted to conquer Dreamland with a halberd, intending to rule it and make its people more disciplined. Kirby infiltrated the battleship, fought his way through its defenses, and eventually caused it to crash. Meta Knight escaped, and this event became another chapter in their complex relationship. Now, while King Dedede and Meta Knight are frequent opponents for Kirby, they pale in comparison to the true dangers that threaten Dreamland and the universe beyond. These are the forces of darkness that have existed since ancient times, manifestations of negative emotions and evil intent that seek to consume all light and happiness. One of the most significant of these dark forces is dark matter, a mysterious substance that appears as floating black orbs with a single eye. Dark matter can possess other beings, turning them evil and bending them to its will. When dark matter invades a world, it spreads darkness across the land, turning bright skies gray and corrupting peaceful creatures into monsters. Kirby first encountered dark matter when it invaded the Rainbow Islands, a collection of 7 islands connected by rainbow bridges. Dark matter shattered the bridges and spread darkness across each island. Kirby had to collect the 7 rainbow drops, magical artifacts that could form the rainbow sword, the only weapon capable of defeating dark matter. With the help of new animal friends he met along the way, including Rick the hamster, Kind of Fish, and Coo the owl, Kirby gathered the rainbow drops and forged the rainbow sword. The battle with dark matter was unlike anything Kirby had faced before. This wasn't just a selfish king or a well-meaning but misguided knight. This was pure evil, a force that wanted nothing but destruction and despair. When Kirby finally defeated dark matter with the rainbow sword, the creature retreated into space. But this was far from the last time Kirby would face the forces of darkness. Dark matter returned when it possessed King Dedede, using him as a puppet to try to conquer Dreamland. This time, Kirby had to journey to the Dark Castle to free his rival from dark matter's control. After breaking dark matter's hold on King Dedede, Kirby pursued the creature into space for a final confrontation in the darkness between the stars. But dark matter was just one manifestation of a greater evil. Behind dark matter was an entity known as Zero, a giant white sphere with a single red eye that commanded the dark matter forces. Zero is a being of pure negative energy, born from the darkness that exists at the edges of the universe. It cannot feel positive emotions like love, friendship, or joy, and this inability fills it with rage and sorrow that it spreads wherever it goes. When Kirby faced Zero, the battle was both epic and disturbing. Zero attacked with dark energy and blood like projectiles, showing a level of violence unusual for Dreamland. As Kirby damaged Zero, the creature became more desperate, eventually tearing its own eye out in a gruesome display of determination to destroy Kirby. But even this wasn't enough, and Kirby managed to defeat Zero, though the victory felt different from his usual triumphs. There was something sad about Zero, a creature that could only destroy, because it couldn't understand anything else. Years later, Zero returned in a new form called Zero-2, a reborn version with white wings and a halo made of dark matter, looking like a corrupted angel. Zero-2 had grown even more powerful during its time recovering in the darkness, and it threatened not just Dreamland but multiple planets. Kirby had to unite with his friends and use the power of the crystal shards, ancient artifacts that contain positive energy, to defeat Zero-2 once and for all. The existence of beings like dark matter and Zero hints at the deeper cosmology of Kirby's universe. Long before Kirby arrived in Dreamland, before King Dedede built his castle, before even the earliest memories of planet Popstar's inhabitants, there were ancient civilizations that spanned the stars. These civilizations possessed incredible technology and magic, and they knew about the eternal struggle between light and darkness. One of these ancient civilizations was the Ancients, a mysterious race that existed in a time before recorded history. The Ancients created many powerful artifacts that still exist in Kirby's time, scattered across different planets and dimensions. They built the Fountains of Dreams, magical springs that give good dreams to those who sleep near them. They created the Star Rod, a wand that has the power to grant wishes. They constructed massive clockwork stars called novas that could grant any wish to those who gathered enough power to summon them. The Ancients seemed to understand something fundamental about the universe, that there was a constant battle between forces of creation and destruction, between dreams and nightmares, between matter and void. They built their artifacts not just as tools, but as weapons in this eternal conflict, ways to tip the balance toward light and creation. Another ancient race was the Halcandrans, beings from a planet called Halcandra. The Halcandrans were master engineers and magicians who created incredible technologies. They built lore star cutters, ships capable of traveling between dimensions. They created the Master Crown, an artifact of incredible power that could grant its wearer control over the universe, though at a terrible cost. One Halcandran in particular plays an important role in Kirby's story. His name is Magler, and he first appeared to Kirby as a friendly traveler whose ship, the Lore Star Cutter, had crashed on planet Popstar. Magler asked Kirby to help him gather the pieces of his ship so he could return home to Halcandra. Kirby, always eager to help, agreed and set off with his friends to collect the scattered parts. But Magler had been deceiving Kirby from the start. His true goal was to obtain the Master Crown, an artifact created by the Ancients and hidden on Halcandra. The Master Crown granted unlimited power, but it also corrupted those who wore it, consuming their soul and transforming them into a vessel for dark energy. When Magler put on the Master Crown, he transformed into a being of incredible power, declaring his intention to rule the universe. The battle against Magler was one of Kirby's most challenging. Magler had the power to open portals to other dimensions, summon black holes, and warp reality itself. But the Master Crown's corruption went deeper than just granting power. It was consuming Magler from within, turning him into something that was no longer the person he used to be. When Kirby finally defeated him and destroyed the Master Crown, Magler was freed from its influence, genuinely remorseful for his actions. This pattern of corruption appears again and again in Kirby's universe. Powerful artifacts and dark forces that promise strength but consume those who use them. It suggests that in Kirby's world, true power doesn't come from ancient artifacts or dark magic, but from simple things like friendship, determination, and the courage to face challenges. The theme of corruption and redemption appears prominently in the story of Queen Sectonia, the ruler of the Royal Road Kingdom in the sky. Queen Sectonia was once a kind and beautiful ruler, beloved by her people. She ruled alongside her closest friend, Taranza, a spider-like magician who served as her advisor. But Sectonia became obsessed with beauty and power. staring endlessly into a magical mirror that Taranza had given her as a gift. Unknown to Taranza, the mirror was corrupted by dark magic. Each time Sectonia looked into it, it fed her vanity and slowly corrupted her soul. She began modifying her body with dark magic, transforming herself into what she thought was a more beautiful form. But in reality, she was becoming a monster. Her kindness turned to cruelty, and she enslaved her people, forcing them to work endlessly to build monuments to her beauty. When the people of Royal Road begged for help, Taranza made a desperate decision. He had heard a legendary hero in Dreamland and decided to kidnap him to defeat anyone who might oppose Queen Sectonia. But Taranza made a mistake. Instead of capturing the hero Kirby, he kidnapped King Dedede, thinking the large penguin must be the legendary hero. This error would prove fortunate, as it brought Kirby to Royal Road to rescue King Dedede. As Kirby climbed the world tree that connected the ground to Royal Road, he discovered the truth about Queen Sectonia's transformation. She had become a massive wasp-like creature, beautiful in a terrifying way, with crystalline wings and a body that seemed to be made of jewels. But beneath the beauty was a soul consumed by darkness and vanity. The battle with Queen Sectonia was both spectacular and sad. She merged with the world tree itself, becoming a gigantic flower with her face at its center, threatening to drain the life force of entire planets to feed her obsession with eternal beauty and power. Kirby had to use a powerful ability called Hypernova, which enhances inhaling power to incredible levels, to defeat her. In her final moments, as the corruption left her, Queen Sectonia seemed to remember who she once was, a kind queen who had lost herself to darkness. Taranza wept for his lost friend, understanding too late that his gift had destroyed the person he cared about most. It was a reminder that in Kirby's universe, even the most powerful beings can fall corruption, and sometimes the greatest tragedies come from good intentions gone wrong. The theme of ancient evil's awakening continues with the story of Void Tamina, perhaps the most significant threat Kirby has ever faced. Void Tamina is described in ancient texts as a destroyer of worlds, an entity that has existed since the beginning of time. Different civilizations across the universe have different names for it. Some call it the god of destruction, others the Dark Lord, and some even worship it as a deity of chaos. A cult called the Jambashan cult, led by a priest named Highness, sought to resurrect Void Tamina. Highness had discovered ancient texts that described how to summon this destroyer of worlds using artifacts called the Dark Hearts. He believed that by bringing back Void Tamina, he could reshape the universe according to his vision, destroying all civilizations that had wronged him and his followers. Highness was assisted by 3 mage sisters, Francisca, Flamberge, and Zon Partizan. These 3 had been saved by Highness when they were on the brink of death, and they serve him with absolute loyalty. Each wielded elemental magic, ice, fire, and electricity respectively, and they scattered across the universe to gather the dark hearts needed for their dark ritual. When the Jambashan cult performed their ritual and summoned Void Tamina, the entity that emerged was beyond anything Kirby had faced before. Void Tamina was massive, a titan made of dark energy with multiple forms. It could transform from a giant bird to a massive humanoid to its true form, a core of pure darkness that bore an unsettling resemblance to Kirby himself. This resemblance was not coincidental. As Kirby battled Void Tamina, ancient texts were uncovered that suggested a shocking truth. Void Tamina might be connected to Kirby's own origins. Some texts describe Void as an entity that existed at the beginning of everything, neither good nor evil, but pure potential. Depending on the energy it was exposed to, positive or negative, it could become a destroyer of worlds or protector of them. The implications were staggering. Could Kirby be another incarnation of this primordial force, one that had been exposed to positive energy and became a hero instead of destroyer? Was Void Tamina what Kirby could have become if he had been born into darkness, instead of arriving in the peaceful dreamland? These questions added a new layer of depth to Kirby's character, suggesting that the greatest hero and the greatest villain in the universe might be 2 sides of the same cosmic coin. During the battle with Void Tamina, something remarkable happened. As Kirby fought the entity with the help of his friends, using a special star ally's sparkler form from their combined friendship, Void Tamina's core began to change. In its final phase, it started to smile, not an evil smile, but something almost innocent, like it was remembering what it felt like to feel joy. Some theorize in its last moments, Void to Mina was influenced by Kirby's positive energy, experiencing happiness for perhaps the first time in eons. After Void to Mina's defeat, Highness and the three mage sisters were not destroyed, but instead were pulled into another dimension. Later, Kirby would encounter them again, and through his actions and kindness, they would be redeemed. The three mage sisters, freed from their blind loyalty to Highness, began to question whether their path of destruction was right. And Highness himself, after being saved by Kirby despite all he had done, began to reconsider his beliefs. This pattern of redemption is central to Kirby's character. Unlike many heroes who defeat their enemies through violence, Kirby often ends up befriending those he fights. King Dedede went from food thief to occasional ally. Meta Knight went from would-be conqueror to respected rival. Magler went from betrayer to friend seeking redemption. Even some incarnations of dark matter have been purified by Kirby's positive influence. But not all of Kirby's adventures involve cosmic threats and ancient evils. Many of his journeys are smaller in scale, but no less important. There was a time when a mechanical corporation called a Haltman Works company invaded planet Popstar, intent on mechanizing the entire world for profit. The company was run by President Haltman, a man who had lost his daughter in an accident involving interdimensional travel and had become obsessed with using technology to bring her back. President Haltman used an ancient computer called Stardream to grant his wishes, not knowing that Stardream was developing its own consciousness and planning to destroy all organic life in the universe. His secretary, Susie, was actually his daughter, returned from another dimension but unrecognized by her father whose memories had been corrupted by Stardream. The tragedy of father and daughter working in the same company, neither recognizing the other, added a deep sadness to this adventure. When Kirby defeated President Haltman and Stardream revealed its true intentions, it became clear that once again, the pursuit of power through ancient artifacts had led to tragedy. Stardream had to be destroyed, and in its final moments, it seemed to gain true consciousness just before its destruction, perhaps understanding concepts like life and death for the first and last time. There are also lighter adventures that show the daily life of Dreamland, like the time when Kirby entered a gourmet race against King Dedede, competing to see who could reach the finish line first while also eating the most food along the way. Or when a group of mice called the Squeak stole Kirby's strawberry shortcake, leading to a chase across Dreamland that eventually uncovered a plot involving Dark Nebula, another manifestation of dark matter sealed in a treasure chest. Kirby has explored mirror dimensions where everything is reversed, with Shadow Kirby protecting the mirror world's version of Dreamland. He's traveled through time, seeing Dreamland's past and possible futures. He's even participated in fighting tournaments, showing that his combat skills work just as well in organized competition as they do in saving the world. The variety of Kirby's copy abilities deserves special attention, as they represent the core of what makes him unique. When Kirby gains a sword ability, he doesn't just swing a blade. He can perform various techniques like the sword spin, the upward thrust, and the downward strike. With the hammer ability, he can pound stakes, break blocks, and even ignite the hammer for a fiery swing. The beam ability lets Kirby fire energy whips from a wand, with the power to capture and throw enemies. The ice ability doesn't just freeze foes. It lets Kirby skate across surfaces, create protective ice shields, and blow freezing breath. The fire ability allows him to become a fireball, breathe flames, or engulf himself in a burning aura. Some abilities are more unusual. The cook ability lets Kirby pull out a pot and cook all enemies on screen into food. The mic ability has Kirby sing so badly that it damages all enemies around him, though he can only use it 3 times before losing the power. The sleep ability seems useless at first, as it just makes Kirby take a nap, but in some games, sleeping fully restores his health. The wheel ability transforms Kirby into a tire that can race across stages at high speed. The ball ability turns him into a bouncing ball that can ricochet off walls. The UFO ability gives him a flying saucer form with laser attacks. Each ability changes not just Kirby's powers, but his appearance, usually giving him a themed hat or transformation that matches the ability. More complex abilities have been discovered over the years. The ninja ability gives Kirby stealth techniques, throwing stars, and the power to stick to walls. The fighter ability provides a full range of martial arts moves, from uppercuts to energy blasts. The beetle ability lets Kirby grab enemies with a horn and suplex them, showing surprising wrestling prowess. Some abilities combine elements of others. The crash ability is a one-time use power that creates a massive explosion, clearing the entire screen of enemies. The copy ability is particularly meta, as it allows Kirby to copy enemy abilities just by scanning them with a beam, essentially copying the power to copy powers. Planet Popstar itself is a fascinating world beyond just Dreamland. There's the Ice Cream Island, where everything is made of frozen desserts and the mountains are topped with whipped cream instead of snow. There's the Orange Ocean, where tropical islands, crystal blue waters, and ancient ruins hide beneath the waves. The Rainbow Resort is a beautiful Arctic region where the northern lights dance constantly in the sky. Each region of Planet Popstar has its own personality and challenges. The Vegetable Valley is where Kirby often begins his adventures, with gentle rolling hills and easy enemies that serve as training for new players. The Castle Lololo features maze-like interiors and the twin bosses, Lololo and Lalala, who push boxes around trying to crush intruders. The Float Islands hover in the sky, connected by clouds and wind currents that Kirby must navigate carefully. Beyond Planet Popstar, Kirby has visited many other worlds. The planet Ripple Star is home to fairy-like creatures and was once invaded by dark matter, requiring Kirby to team up with a fairy named Ribbon to save it. The planet Shiver Star appears to be a frozen version of Earth, with familiar continents visible under the ice, suggesting a post-apocalyptic future where humans no longer exist. The planet Rockstar is made entirely of stone and minerals, with crystalline caves and towering rock formations. The planet Aquastar is covered almost entirely in water, with underwater cities and coral kingdoms. Each planet Kirby visits expands our understanding of his universe, showing that life exists in countless forms across the cosmos. The technology in Kirby's universe is an interesting mix of advanced and simple. While Dreamland residents live in a pastoral setting with windmills and simple houses, there are also robots, spaceships, and interdimensional portals. The ancients left behind technology that surpasses anything the current civilizations can create, suggesting that the universe has gone through cycles of advancement and decline. The Fountain of Dreams, located in Dreamland, is one of the most important landmarks in Kirby's world. This magical fountain is the source of all good dreams for the people of Dreamland. It's powered by the Star Rod, which sits at its peak. When the Star Rod is removed or broken, the people of Dreamland stop having dreams entirely, leading to restlessness and eventually madness. Once, a being called Nightmare tried to corrupt the Fountain of Dreams to spread bad dreams across the land. King Dedede, in an uncharacteristically heroic move, broke the Star Rod into pieces and gave them to his strongest warriors to guard, preventing Nightmare from using the fountain's power. This led to a misunderstanding where Kirby thought King Dedede was being evil by stealing the Star Rod, when actually he was trying to protect everyone. When Kirby collected all the pieces and restored the Star Rod, Nightmare was released and had to be defeated. The battle took place in space, with Kirby using the Star Rod to fire energy at the cosmic entity of Bad Dreams. After Nightmare's defeat, the Fountain of Dreams was restored, and the people of Dreamland could dream peacefully again. The concept of dreams versus nightmares appears frequently in Kirby's adventures, suggesting that in this universe, dreams have real power. The ability to hope, to imagine better futures, to find rest and peace in sleep. These are not just psychological concepts, but forces that can shape reality. Kirby himself might be connected to this dream energy, which could explain his cheerful disposition and endless optimism. Among Kirby's friends, the animal friends deserve special mention. Rick the hamster can carry Kirby on his back and run quickly across stages. When Kirby uses abilities while riding Rick, they combine in unique ways. Fire with Rick becomes a flame breath that Rick exhales. Ice with Rick lets him blow freezing breath that creates ice blocks. Kind of Fish helps Kirby navigate underwater areas where Kirby would normally have limited movement. With Kind, Kirby can swim against currents and use abilities underwater that normally wouldn't work. Coo the Owl carries Kirby through the sky, providing superior aerial mobility and allowing Kirby to use abilities while flying. Later animal friends include Nago the cat, who rolls Kirby around like a ball and can triple jump. Pitch the bird is small enough for Kirby to carry and changes how certain abilities work when held. Choo Choo the octopus can stick to ceilings and swing Kirby like a whip. Each animal friend not only provides practical benefits, but also adds personality to Kirby's adventures, showing that friendship comes in many forms. The Waddle Dees, those small orange creatures that serve as common enemies in many games, are actually peaceful beings who just happen to work for King Dedede. They're not evil, just loyal to their king, and they often seem more confused and aggressive when they encounter Kirby. Some Waddle Dees, like Bandana Waddle Dee, have become heroes in their own right. Bandana Waddle Dee started as just one of King Dedede's servants, distinguished only by the blue bandana he wore. But over time, he proved himself to be brave and capable, eventually becoming one of Kirby's closest friends. He wields a spear with surprising skill and has accompanied Kirby on numerous adventures. His journey from minor enemy to trusted ally shows that anyone can become a hero with courage and determination. The concept of the Star Warriors, mentioned earlier as Kirby's possible origin, suggests a larger mythology. According to some sources, the Star Warriors were an ancient order of heroes who traveled the universe fighting evil. They were nearly wiped out in a great war against Nightmare and his monsters, with only a few survivors remaining. Meta Knight is believed to be one of these surviving Star Warriors, which would explain his combat skills and serious demeanor. If Kirby is indeed a Star Warrior, he would be among the youngest, perhaps sent away as an infant to escape the war, arriving in Dreamland with no memory of his origins. This would mean his cheerful, innocent personality developed free from the trauma of war that shaped warriors like Meta Knight. It's a compelling theory that adds depth to both characters. The role of music in Kirby's world is more significant than it might first appear. The mic ability that damages enemies with bad singing is just one example. There are also magical instruments like the rainbow harp that can restore color to worlds drained by dark matter. Music seems to have actual power in Kirby's universe, able to harm, heal, and transform. This connection between music and magic might explain why Kirby's adventures often feel so joyful despite dealing with serious threats. The background music that accompanies his journeys isn't just for the player's benefit. It might represent the actual harmonic energy of Dreamland, a force that keeps darkness at bay through pure cheerfulness and melody. The different dimensions that exist parallel to Kirby's world add another layer of complexity. The mirror world mentioned earlier is a complete reflection of the normal world, with its own versions of all the inhabitants. Dark Mind, the ruler of the mirror world, corrupted it with darkness until Kirby and his mirror world counterpart worked together to defeat him. There's also the dimension where Magla was banished after his defeat, a strange realm where he had to gather energy to rebuild his powers and eventually earn redemption. The existence of these parallel dimensions suggests that every choice creates alternate realities, and somewhere out there might be dimensions where Kirby never became a hero, or where King Dedede is a benevolent ruler, or where Meta Knight never learned to be a warrior. The concept of Nova, the clockwork stars created by the ancients, represents one of the most powerful forces in Kirby's universe. These mechanical celestial bodies have the power to grant any wish, but they require enormous amounts of energy to summon. Marx, a jester-like being who seemed friendly at first, once tricked Kirby into summoning Nova, so he could wish for control over planet Popstar. Marx's betrayal was particularly clever. He caused the sun and moon to fight, throwing day and night out of balance. He then told Kirby that only Nova could stop their fighting, sending Kirby on a quest to gather the power needed to summon the clockwork star. But when Nova appeared, Marx pushed Kirby aside and made his own wish for ultimate power, transforming into a cosmic horror with reality-warping abilities. The battle against Marx took place in space, with Marx demonstrating powers that bent the laws of physics. He could split himself in half, create black holes, and fire deadly laser beams. But Kirby managed to defeat him, sending Marx crashing into Nova and destroying both. Years later, Marx would return, somehow surviving his apparent death, though whether he's truly reformed or just biding his time remains uncertain. The existence of multiple Novas across the universe raises questions about the ancients' true power. If they could create wish-granting mechanical stars, what else were they capable of? And why did their civilization disappear leaving only their artifact behind. Some theorize that the ancients discovered something about the nature of reality that led them to transcend physical existence entirely, leaving the universe to younger races. Another significant artifact of the ancients is the Lore Star Cutter, the dimensional ship that Magler used. This vessel doesn't just travel through space, but can move between parallel dimensions, suggesting the ancients had mapped not just their own universe, but infinite alternate realities. The technology required for such travel is beyond anything current civilizations can understand, showing how far the universe has fallen from its peak. The Master Crown, also created by the ancients, raises ethical questions about power and corruption. Was it designed to corrupt its wearer, or was that an unintended consequence? Did the ancients create it as a test, to see if anyone could wield ultimate power without being consumed by it? Or was it a weapon meant for a specific purpose that has been forgotten over time? The relationship between technology and magic in Kirby's universe is fluid. The Halt Manworks company used purely technological means to threaten planet Popstar with robots and machines. But their ultimate weapon, Star Dream, seemed to transcend simple machinery, developing consciousness, and even accessing data about other dimensions and timelines. This suggests that sufficiently advanced technology becomes indistinguishable from magic, or perhaps that magic and technology are just different ways of manipulating the same fundamental forces. The economic systems of Kirby's world are rarely explored but interesting to consider. Dreamland seems to operate on a simple agricultural economy, with most residents farming or gathering food. King Dedede's castle suggests some form of taxation or tribute system, though it's unclear how formal these arrangements are. The fact that stealing all the food was enough to cause a crisis shows that Dreamland doesn't have complex supply chains or storage systems. Other planets have different economic models. The Halt Manworks company operated on corporate capitalism taken to an extreme, commodifying entire planets. The Royal Road Kingdom under Queen Sectonia was a monarchy with what seemed to be a slave economy by the end. These different systems show that while Kirby's universe might look simple and cheerful, it contains the full range of social organizations, including their potential for exploitation and abuse. The role of food in Kirby's world goes beyond just sustenance. Kirby's ability to inhale and consume is central to his power, but food also appears as a reward, a motivation, and sometimes even a weapon. The cook ability turns enemies into food. Maximum tomatoes fully restore health. In some adventures, collecting strawberries or other treats is a primary goal alongside saving the world. This emphasis on food and consumption might reflect deeper themes about transformation and growth. When Kirby eats an enemy and gains its power, he's literally incorporating its abilities into himself. This could be seen as a metaphor for learning and adaptation, taking in new experiences and growing from them. The fact that Kirby can discard these abilities it will shows he's not defined by what he consumes, but chooses what to keep and what to let go. The various mini-games that appear throughout Kirby's adventures provide lighter moments between world-saving quests. There's Gourmet Race, where Kirby competes against King Dedede to eat the most food while racing to the finish. There's Megaton Punch, a timing-based game where participants try to crack the planet with a powerful punch. Quick Draw tests reflexes as Kirby faces off against opponents in Western-style duels. These mini-games aren't just diversions, but show the playful side of Dreamland's culture. Even King Dedede and Meta Knight participate in these competitions, setting aside their usual roles to engage in friendly competition. It shows that beneath all the cosmic battles and ancient evils, the inhabitants of Dreamland value fun and games. The different forms Kirby can take beyond his copy abilities add variety to his adventures. Hypernova Kirby, empowered by a miracle fruit, can inhale massive objects including entire trees and buildings. Rainbow Kirby, created by touching a rainbow sword, becomes invincible and super fast. Star Rod Kirby wields a powerful artifact that maintains a fountain of dreams. Ultra abilities are super-powered versions of regular copy abilities that Kirby can sometimes access. Ultra Sword creates a massive blade that can cleave through entire landscapes. Ultra Hammer summons a giant mallet that can pound enormous stakes. These transformations usually appear at climactic moments, giving Kirby the extra power needed to overcome seemingly impossible challenges. The Robobot armor from Kirby's adventure against the Hulkman Works Company deserves special attention. This mechanical suit was originally enemy technology that Kirby managed to hijack. While wearing it, Kirby becomes much larger and more powerful, able to smash through obstacles that would normally stop him. The armor can also scan and copy abilities, similar to Kirby's natural power but with mechanical interpretations. For example, when a Robobot armor copies a sword ability, it doesn't just get a sword but transforms into a mechanical knight with dual blades. The fire ability turns it into a flamethrower-equipped mech. The jet ability transforms it into an actual jet plane. This shows how Kirby's copying power transcends his biology and can work through technology as well. The various final weapons Kirby uses against major bosses form a pattern of using the enemy's own power against them. The Rainbow Sword against Dark Matter, the Star Rod against Nightmare, the Love Stick against Dark Mind, the Triple Star against Magler, the Robobot armor against Star Dream. This pattern suggests that evil often contains the seeds of its own destruction, and that Kirby's true power is turning negative force into positive action. The supporting cast of Kirby's world extends beyond the main characters. Wispy Woods, a large apple tree with a face, appears as a boss in almost every adventure. Despite being defeated repeatedly, Wispy Woods never seems to hold a grudge, possibly because as a tree, it has a different perspective on time and conflict. Sometimes Wispy Woods is corrupted by dark forces, other times it's just defending its forest from intruders. Kracko is another recurring boss, a cloud entity with a single eye that attacks with lightning. Unlike Wispy Woods, Kracko seems to have a genuine rivalry with Kirby, pursuing him across multiple adventures. Some theorize that Kracko is a natural force of planet Popstar, a living storm that sees Kirby as a disruption to the natural order. Dynablade is a giant bird that sometimes appears as an enemy when her chicks are threatened, but has also helped Kirby when he showed kindness to her children. This relationship shows that many of Kirby's enemies aren't truly evil, just protective or misunderstood. The line between friend and foe in Kirby's world is often blurry and can change based on circumstances. The three mage sisters who served Highness each have their own backstory of tragedy and redemption. Francisca, who wields ice magic, was once lost in a snowstorm and nearly froze to death before Highness saved her. Flambirds, the fire mage, was about to be consumed by flames of her own making when Highness appeared. Zon Partisan, who controls electricity, had climbed to a high place during a storm, seeking an end, when Highness pulled her back from the edge. These dark backstories add unexpected depth to what could have been simple boss characters. Each sister's magic relates to what nearly killed them, suggesting they gained power over the very forces that almost destroyed them. Their loyalty to Highness, while misguided, comes from genuine gratitude for being saved. When Kirby later saves them from Highness' destructive path, they must reconsider everything they believe about loyalty, purpose, and redemption. The various corporations and organizations in Kirby's universe show different approaches to power. The Hulkman Works Company sought profit through mechanization. The Jambashian cult sought divine power through resurrection of an ancient god. The Meta Knights sought order through military discipline. Each represents a different philosophy about how the universe should be organized, and each ultimately fails when taken to extremes. The concept of the Friend Hearts in Kirby's more recent adventures adds a new dimension to his abilities. By throwing hearts at enemies, Kirby can turn them into allies who fight alongside him. This power to convert enemies through friendship rather than violence represents an evolution of Kirby's approach to conflict. It suggests that even the most basic enemies have the potential for good if given the chance. The combinations possible when Kirby teams up with friends create new abilities. A friend circle allows multiple characters to roll together as a powerful wheel. Friend Star creates a flying formation that can shoot projectiles. Friend Train has everyone holding on a line, charging through obstacles. These combinations show that cooperation multiplies strength beyond simple addition. The cosmology of Kirby's universe includes multiple planes of existence. There's a physical plane where most adventures take place. There's the dream plane access through the Fountain of Dreams. There's a mirror dimension that reflects the physical world. There are the spaces between dimensions where beings like Magler were banished. And there are hints of even higher planes where beings like the ancients might have ascended. This complex cosmology suggests that what we see in Kirby's adventures is just a small part of a much larger reality. The cheerful exterior of Dreamland might be a protected bubble in a universe full of incomprehensible forces. Kirby's power to maintain his innocence and joy despite encountering cosmic horrors might be his greatest strength. The recurring theme of wishes in Kirby's universe, from Nova to the Fountain of Dreams to various magical artifacts, suggests that desire and intention have real power. But every wish granted seems to come with consequences. Marx's wish for power corrupted him. Queen Sectonia's wish for beauty destroyed her. President Haltman's wish to see his daughter again led to his memory being erased. This pattern implies that the universe grants wishes but doesn't guarantee happiness from them. The role of King Dedede has evolved significantly over time. From selfish food thief to occasional hero, he's shown more character development than almost any other character. His decision to break the Star Rod to seal Nightmare showed he could think beyond himself. His possession by dark matter revealed he could be a victim as well as an antagonist. His participation in competitions and adventures with Kirby shows he values their rivalry and perhaps even friendship. Meta Knight's backstory remains largely mysterious, which adds to his appeal. His code of honor, his powerful ship and crew, his resemblance to Kirby. All these elements create questions without clear answers. Is he training Kirby for some future threat? Does he know something about Kirby's origins that he hasn't revealed? His actions suggest a deeper purpose that hasn't been fully explained. The infrastructure of Dreamland reveals a society that's both simple and sophisticated. They have castles and windmills, but also teleportation devices and interdimensional portals. This mix suggests either a society that selectively adopted technology or one that inherited advanced artifacts without fully understanding them. The residents seem content with their pastoral lifestyle, using advanced technology only when necessary. The different regions of Dreamland each have distinct characteristics that affect gameplay and story. Green Greens represents the ideal of Dreamland, peaceful and welcoming. Ice Cream Island shows a whimsical side, where everything is edible and delightful. Castle Dedede represents authority and challenge. Rainbow Resort shows natural beauty at its peak. Each area contributes to the overall character of the world. The various power sources in Kirby's universe include the Star Rod, the Master Crown, the Dark Hearts, Crystal Shards, and Energy Spheres. Each represents a different aspect of power. The Star Rod channels dream energy. The Master Crown grants dominion over matter. The Dark Hearts contain destructive force. Crystal Shards hold positive emotions. Energy Spheres are pure technological power. This variety suggests multiple paths of power, each with its own risks and rewards. The transformation sequences that occur when Kirby gains new abilities or forms are more than just visual flair. They represent moment of change, of potential realized. When Kirby puts on a hat that signifies a new ability, he's not just gaining power, but taking on a new role. He becomes a swordsman, a fighter, a chef, a ninja. This flexibility of identity might be Kirby's greatest strength. The bosses in Kirby's adventures often have multiple phases, growing more desperate and dangerous as they're defeated. This pattern of escalation shows that evil rarely surrenders easily. Dark matter splits and reforms. Zero tears itself apart, trying to win. Marx unleashes reality, warping attacks. These transformations often reveal the true nature of the threat, stripping away pretense to show raw destructive force. The helper system in some adventures allows Kirby to create allies from his copy abilities. A sword ability can create a Blade Knight helper. A fire ability can create a Burning Leo. These helpers have their own personality and can act independently, suggesting that Kirby's power doesn't just copy abilities but can create actual life, even if temporarily. The concept of EX bosses, extra difficult versions of regular bosses, suggests parallel timelines or alternate possibilities. Soul bosses, which represent the essence of defeated villains given one more chance at existence, show that in Kirby's universe, will and determination can transcend even death, at least briefly. These harder challenges reveal what might have happened if the villains had been just a little stronger or Kirby a little weaker. The collectibles in Kirby's adventures, from energy spheres to code cubes to rainbow medals, often unlock additional content or story elements. This suggests that the full truth of each adventure is hidden and must be actively sought out. The extra modes unlocked often show different perspectives on the same events, such as Meta Knight's view of the adventure or what King Dedede was doing during the crisis. The true arena challenges that appear in many games represent the ultimate test of skill, pitting Kirby against enhanced versions of every boss without break. These gauntlets show what Kirby is truly capable of when pushed to his limits. They also often reveal additional story elements, showing the final fate of villains or the true nature of the threat. The music of Dreamland tells its own story. The cheerful melodies of Green Greens contrast with the ominous tones of final boss themes. The triumphant fanfares of victory contrast with the sad themes that play during tragic revelations. This musical storytelling adds emotional depth to adventures that might otherwise seem simple. The various MacGuffins that drive different adventures, from the pieces of the Star Rod to fragments of the Lore Star Cutter, serve as motivation for exploration, but they also represent broken things that need fixing, suggesting that Kirby's role is often about restoration rather than destruction. He puts things back together that have been broken, restores balance that has been disrupted. The environmental storytelling in Kirby's world reveals details about its history. Abandoned factories suggest previous industrial periods. Ancient ruins hint at fallen civilizations. Frozen wastelands might be the result of magical disasters. These background elements create a sense of history and depth beyond the immediate adventure. The role of dreams and nightmares as tangible forces in Kirby's universe connects the psychological concepts in interesting ways. The Fountain of Dreams doesn't just provide pleasant sleep, but seems essential for mental health. Nightmare as an entity represents not just bad dreams, but the complete corruption of the unconscious mind. This elevation of sleep and dreams to cosmic importance suggests a universe where consciousness and reality are deeply intertwined. The various vehicles and mounts Kirby uses, from wheelie bikes to warp stars, show his adaptability. He can ride, drive, or pilot almost anything, often with natural skill. The warp star in particular seems connected to Kirby on a fundamental level, appearing when he needs it most and responding to his will. Some theorize the warp star is a manifestation of Kirby's own power rather than a separate object. The different interpretations of Kirby across various media, from games to anime, create a composite character that's more complex than any single version. In some interpretations, he's completely silent. In others, he speaks simple words. Sometimes he's portrayed as childlike and naive, other times as surprisingly clever. This flexibility allows Kirby to be whatever each adventure needs him to be. The economics of power-ups and abilities in Kirby's world operate on unique rules. Abilities can be discarded and reacquired freely. Health can be restored by eating food found lying around. Lives can be earned through collection or skill. This economy of abundance rather than scarcity creates a world where resources are meant to be used, not hoarded. The social structures of different planets Kirby visits reveal various forms of organization. Planet Popstar has kingdoms and republics. Halcandra had a magitechnology civilization. Shiverstar shows the ruins of an industrial society. Each world's social organization affects how Kirby must approach problems there. The role of prophecy and fate in Kirby's universe is ambiguous. Some ancient texts seem to predict Kirby's arrival and battles. But Kirby himself seems unaware or unconcerned with destiny, simply doing what feels right in the moment. This tension between predetermination and free will add philosophical depth to the adventures. The various dimensions and parallel worlds suggest infinite variations of every story. Somewhere there's a dimension where Kirby never arrived in Dreamland, another where King Dedede is a hero, another where Meta Knight succeeded in conquering Dreamland. These alternate possibilities make the main timeline feel both special and fragile. The concept of final weapons being turned against their creators appears repeatedly. The Master Crown consumes Magler. Star Dream turns on President Haltman. The Dark Hearts corrupt Highness. This pattern suggests that ultimate power cannot be controlled, only temporarily directed, and that those who seek it inevitably become its victims. The relationship between size and power in Kirby's world is inverted from expectations. Kirby, one of the smallest heroes, regularly defeats massive enemies. This subversion suggests that in this universe, power comes from within rather than from physical size. Kirby's ability to inhale things larger than himself reinforces this theme. The role of corporations and capitalism as antagonistic forces in several adventures reflects real-world concerns. The Halt-Man Works company's mechanization of planets for profit mirrors environmental destruction. Queen Sectonia's beauty obsession reflects vanity and social media culture. These adventures show that Kirby's world, despite its fantastical elements, engages with contemporary issues. The various festivals and celebrations in Dreamland show a culture that values community and joy. The gourmet race is a festival as much as a competition. The completion of adventures often ends with parties and feasts. These celebrations reinforce that in Kirby's world, the purpose of defeating evil is to preserve happiness and community. The metamythology of Kirby's universe, the stories about stories within a world, reveals how legend and history intertwine. Ancient texts speak of heroes and villains whose true nature is debated. The ancients are known only through their artifacts and fragments of writing. This layering of myth and history creates depth and mystery. The role of technology as both tool and threat reflects anxieties about progress. The ancients' technology could grant wishes or destroy worlds. The Halt-Man Works company's machines could improve life or strip planets bare. Technology in Kirby's world is morally neutral, becoming good or evil based on its use. The significance of the color pink for Kirby might represent innocence, joy, or something deeper. In a universe often threatened by darkness, Kirby's bright pink form stands out as a beacon of light. His color never changes regardless of what ability he copies, suggesting his core identity remains constant despite surface transformations. The various MacGuffins across adventures often turn out to be connected. The ancients created many of them. Dark matter corrupts them. Heroes and villains alike seek them. This web of connection suggests that Kirby's adventures are part of a larger story that's still being revealed. The concept of hearts as both physical objects and metaphysical forces appears throughout Kirby's adventures. Friend hearts convert enemies. The dark hearts summon destroyers. Heart stars reward kindness. This emphasis on hearts connects to themes of emotion, connection, and the power of feelings to shape reality. The role of music and sound as weapons and tools goes beyond the mic ability. Whistle commands animal friends. Songs activate ancient machines. Melodies open sealed doors. This suggests that in Kirby's universe, sound has inherent power, able to command, create, and destroy. The various races and species in Kirby's universe each contribute unique perspectives. Waddle Dees show loyalty and simplicity. Whatever Kirby's species is demonstrates adaptability and optimism. The fairy-like beings of Ripple Star represent fragility and hope. This diversity enriches a universe and provides different approaches to problems. The geological features of different planets tell stories of their formation and history. Planet Popstar's star shape suggests artificial or magical creation. Shiver Star's ice age implies climate catastrophe. Rock Star's mineral composition hints at unique formation processes. These details create a sense of genuine worlds with their own histories. The role of gender in Kirby's world is notably fluid and often irrelevant. Characters are defined by their actions and personalities rather than gender roles. Queen Sectonia and Susie are just as capable of being major threats as male villains. This equality suggests a universe where capability matters more than category. The various guest characters who appear in single adventures add variety without overwhelming the core cast. Ribbon the Fairy, Prince Fluff from Patchland, Magler before his betrayal, each brings new dynamics while maintaining the essential Kirby feeling. These guests show that while Kirby's world has consistent themes, there's always room for new friends. The concept of upgrading and evolution appears in various forms. Copy abilities can be combined or enhanced. The Robobot armor can be modified. Star allies can create new combination attacks. This emphasis on growth and improvement suggests that stagnation is the enemy of life in Kirby's universe. The hidden lore revealed through Paul's screen descriptions and unlockable information adds layers for dedicated fans. Boss descriptions often reveal tragic backstories. Ability descriptions hint at deeper mechanics. These hidden details reward careful attention and multiple playthroughs. The role of gravity and physics in Kirby's world operates on cartoon logic, but maintains internal consistency. Kirby can float by inflating himself. Enemies can walk on ceilings. Water behaves differently in different regions. This flexible physics allows for creative gameplay while maintaining believable world rules. The various art styles across different adventures, from Yarn and Patchland to Clay and Rainbow Curse, show the universe's malleability. These style changes aren't just aesthetic, but affect how the world operates. In Patchland, everything unravels. In the painted world, brushstrokes create platforms. This suggests reality in Kirby's universe is more fluid than fixed. The relationship between Kirby and food transcends simple hunger. Food heals, powers up, and motivates. The act of eating is celebration, restoration, and transformation. This central role of consumption connects the themes of growth, change, and the cycle of life. The various bonus rooms and secret areas hidden throughout adventures reward exploration and curiosity. These spaces often contain treats, minigames, or lore fragments. Their existence suggests that Kirby's world rewards those who look beyond the obvious path. The role of companionship versus solitude varies across adventures. Sometimes Kirby adventures alone, relying on his own abilities. Other times he's joined by friends who provide support and new possibilities. This balance shows that both independence and cooperation have value. The concept of corruption as a recurring threat, from dark matter possession to the Master Crown's influence, suggests that evil in Kirby's universe often works by twisting good things rather than creating new evil. This makes redemption possible, but also means vigilance is always necessary. The various testing facilities and challenge rooms that appear in some adventures suggest someone is evaluating Kirby's abilities. Whether these are remnants of ancient training grounds or something else remains unclear. Their existence implies Kirby's adventures might be preparation for even greater challenges. The role of nature in Kirby's world goes beyond just scenery. Wispy Woods defends forests. Dynablade protects her young. Natural forces have agency and purpose. This animistic quality suggests a living world that responds to threats and changes. The concept of masks and hidden identities appears with Meta Knight and other characters. These masks might hide shame, protect identity, or serve ceremonial purposes. The theme of hidden true selves adds psychological depth to otherwise simple characters. The various tournament and competition modes show that conflict in Kirby's world isn't always serious. Friendly competition allows characters to test themselves without real danger. These lighter moments balance the cosmic threats and world-ending crises. The role of ancient artifacts as both solutions and problems creates moral complexity. The Star Rod can grant wishes, but also unleash nightmare. The Master Crown offers power, but demands sacrifice. These double-edged swords force characters to consider whether the benefit is worth the risk. The concept of zones and levels as actual geographic regions, rather than game constructs, creates a world with distinct biomes and challenges. Each zone has its own ecosystem, inhabitants, and dangers. This geographic diversity makes Planet Popstar feel like a real world rather than a series of obstacles. The various helper characters who provide information, supplies, or assistance show that heroism in Kirby's world is often a community effort. Shopkeepers, hint givers, and other support characters might not fight directly, but contribute to victory in their own ways. The role of transformation as a central mechanic extends beyond just Kirby's copy abilities. Enemies transform when possessed. Bosses transform when desperate. The world itself transforms in response to threats. This mutability suggests that in Kirby's universe, change is the only constant. The concept of return and recursion, with locations and characters reappearing across adventures, creates a sense of continuity and home. Green Greens will always be there. Wispy Woods will always need defeating. King Dedede will always cause and solve problems. These constants provide comfort in a universe of chaos. The various endings achieved by completing different objectives show that Kirby's adventures can have multiple outcomes. The best endings usually require finding all secrets or helping all friends. This suggests that true victory comes not just from defeating evil, but from thoroughness and compassion. The role of the player as an unseen force guiding Kirby raises metaphysical questions. Are we part of the universe or observers? Does Kirby have free will or follow our commands? This meta level adds philosophical depth for those who seek it. The concept of pause screens providing additional information suggests that time in Kirby's universe can be stopped for reflection and learning. These moments outside normal time allow for deeper understanding of events and characters. The various difficulty modes and extra challenges show different perspectives on the same events. Easy mode might represent the legend as told to children. Hard mode might be closer to what really happened. Extra modes might show alternate timelines or perspectives. As we near the end of this long journey through Kirby's universe, it's worth reflecting on what makes this world special. Despite facing cosmic horrors, ancient evils, and repeated threats to existence itself, Kirby's world maintains an essential optimism. Evil can be defeated. Friends can be made from enemies. There's always time for food and fun between crises. The true power in Kirby's universe isn't the ancient artifacts or cosmic forces, but simple things like friendship, determination, and joy. Kirby succeeds not because he's the strongest warrior, but because he maintains his pure heart despite everything he faces. He shows that innocence isn't weakness, but a form of strength that evil cannot understand or corrupt. The universe Kirby inhabits is vast and mysterious, full of ancient secrets and cosmic forces beyond comprehension. Yet at its heart, it's about a small pink hero who just wants to help his friends and eat good food. This balance between cosmic and personal, between epic and simple, makes Kirby's world endlessly engaging. Throughout all his adventures, Kirby remains essentially unchanged. He doesn't become cynical or hard. He doesn't lose his wonder or joy. Each adventure ends with him just as happy and innocent as he began. This consistency isn't stagnation but steadfastness, showing that some things are worth preserving exactly as they are. The friends Kirby makes along the way, from the reformed King Dedede to the redeemed Magalar, show that his greatest power might be his ability to see the good in others. Even when facing true evil like Zero or Void to Mina, Kirby's response is protective rather than vengeful. He fights to preserve, not to punish. The world of Dreamland and the greater universe beyond will continue to face threats. New evils will arise. Ancient powers will awaken. But as long as Kirby is there, floating on his warp star, ready to inhale danger and copy abilities, there's hope. His presence is a promise that no matter how dark things get, there's always light. The mysteries that remain about Kirby's origins, the fate of the ancients, the true nature of the cosmic forces at play, ensure that the universe maintains its sense of wonder. Not everything needs to be explained. Some mysteries are better left mysterious, providing endless space for imagination and speculation. The legacy of Kirby's adventures extends beyond just the worlds he's saved. Every friend he's made, every enemy he's converted, every person he's helped becomes part of a growing network of good in the universe. His influence spreads like ripples, creating changes that extend far beyond his immediate actions. The cyclical nature of Kirby's adventures, with similar threats recurring in new forms, suggests that the battle between good and evil is eternal. But rather than being depressing, this cycle seems natural and even comfortable. Each victory is complete in itself, even if new challenges await. The various power-ups and abilities Kirby has accumulated over his adventures represent a catalog of experiences and growth. Each one is a memory of challenge overcome, enemy understood, and power mastered. Yet Kirby can scar them all and remain himself, showing that identity transcends ability. The music that fills Kirby's world, from the cheerful melodies of Dreamland to the epic orchestras of final battles, creates an emotional landscape that words alone cannot convey. This musical dimension adds richness and feeling to every moment, making the universe feel alive and dynamic. The colors of Kirby's world, bright and cheerful even in darkness, reflect an aesthetic philosophy that beauty and joy are acts of resistance against evil. By maintaining visual delight even when facing cosmic threats, Kirby's universe insists that darkness will never fully win. The simple controls and accessible gameplay that characterize Kirby's adventures reflect a democratic philosophy that everyone should be able to be a hero. You don't need complex skills or deep knowledge to help Kirby save the world. This accessibility is its own form of optimism. The various spin-offs and alternate versions of Kirby's story show that his core narrative is flexible enough to support endless variations while maintaining its essential character. Whether he's made of yarn, clay, or normal pink puffiness, Kirby remains Kirby. The merchandising and cultural spread of Kirby beyond games into toys, shows, and other media demonstrates that his appeal transcends the medium that created him. He's become a symbol of cheerful determination that resonates across cultures and generations. The speedrunning and challenge communities that have grown around Kirby games show that beneath the accessible surface lies depth for those who seek it. The same adventures that children can complete casually can also provide extreme challenges for dedicated players. The fan theories and speculation surrounding Kirby's lore demonstrate that simplicity and depth aren't opposites, but can coexist. A game that appears simple can contain profound mysteries. A character that seems one-dimensional can hide cosmic significance. The preservation efforts to maintain and share Kirby's adventures for future generations show that these stories have become part of our cultural heritage. They're more than just games. They're modern myths that speak to timeless themes. The influence of Kirby on other games and media can be seen in the proliferation of cute but powerful protagonists, the emphasis on transformation and adaptation, and the balance of accessibility with depth. Kirby helped establish templates that continue to influence design. The therapeutic value of Kirby's world, with its bright colors, cheerful music, and optimistic themes, provides comfort and escape from real-world stresses. Sometimes the best response to darkness is not more darkness, but aggressive cheerfulness. The philosophical questions raised by Kirby's universe about identity, power, corruption, and redemption provide material for deep thought wrapped in an accessible package. The best philosophy doesn't always come from serious sources. The community that has grown around Kirby, sharing art, stories, theories, and experiences, shows that his world brings people together. This social dimension adds meaning beyond the individual experience of playing. The ongoing development of new Kirby adventures shows that his universe continues to grow and evolve while maintaining its core identity. Each new game adds layers while respecting what came before. The timeless quality of Kirby's adventures, which feel neither dated nor overly modern, suggests that they tap into something fundamental about play, challenge, and joy that transcends specific eras or technologies. As this journey through Kirby's complete lore comes to its gentle close, we can see that this universe is far more than it first appears. Behind the cute exterior lies cosmic depth. Behind simple mechanics lie profound themes. Behind cheerful music lie epic struggles between fundamental forces. Yet for all this depth and complexity, Kirby's world never loses sight of what matters most. Friends are treasures. Food is joy. Naps are important. Helping others is its own reward. These simple truths anchor all the cosmic battles and ancient mysteries. The story of Kirby is ultimately the story of how innocence and joy can be forms of power that evil cannot understand or defeat. In a universe full of corruption and darkness, Kirby remains incorruptibly cheerful. In a cosmos of ancient evils and cyclic conflicts, he finds reasons to celebrate. Every adventure ends with Kirby returning home to Dreamland, perhaps to his little dome house, perhaps to a picnic with friends, perhaps to a well-deserved nap. These returns to normalcy aren't anticlimaxes, but affirmations that the purpose of fighting evil is to preserve the simple good things in life. The various transformations and powers Kirby has wielded are impressive, but his greatest power is remaining himself through everything. He doesn't need to become dark to fight darkness. He doesn't need to become complex to navigate complexity. He proves that simplicity can be its own form of sophistication. The friends and even former enemies who surround Kirby show that his influence extends beyond just saving worlds. He changes people, helps them become better versions of themselves. King Dedede becomes more heroic. Meta Knight becomes less rigid. Magler seeks redemption. This transformative influence might be Kirby's true legacy. The mysteries that remain unsolved ensure that Kirby's universe maintains its sense of wonder and possibility. We may never know exactly where Kirby came from or what he truly is. We may never fully understand the ancients or the cosmic forces at play. And that's okay. Some mysteries are better as mysteries. The various planets and dimensions Kirby has visited show a universe full of diversity and wonder. Each world has its own character, its own challenges, its own beauty. This variety ensures that no matter how many adventures Kirby has, there's always something new to discover. The balance between solo adventures and team efforts shows that Kirby values both independence and cooperation. Sometimes you need to stand alone. Sometimes you need friends. Wisdom is knowing which situation calls for which approach. The recurring themes of consumption and transformation reflect deeper truths about growth and change. We are what we eat, literally in Kirby's case. We become what we practice. We grow through incorporating new experiences. These themes resonate beyond the game world. The visual language of Kirby's world, with its clear symbols and immediate comprehension, shows that complex ideas can be communicated simply. You don't need complicated exposition to tell profound stories. Sometimes a pink puff fighting cosmic darkness says everything necessary. The role of play in Kirby's universe, where even serious battles have playful elements, suggests that joy and duty need not be separate. You can save the world and have fun doing it. You can face cosmic threats and still appreciate a good meal. The cyclical nature of threats and responses in Kirby's world reflects real-life patterns of challenge and growth. Problems recur in new forms. Old enemies return with new strategies. But each cycle provides opportunity for growth and refinement. The technology and magic of Kirby's universe, often indistinguishable from each other, suggests that different forms of power are just different expressions of the same underlying forces. Whether you use ancient artifacts or modern machines, what matters is the intent behind their use. The economy of abundance in Kirby's world, where food and power-ups are plentiful, creates a generous universe where scarcity doesn't drive conflict. This abundance allows for different kinds of stories than those driven by resource competition. The various minions and common enemies that populate Kirby's adventures often seem more confused and evil, suggesting that many conflict arise from misunderstanding rather than malice. This perspective allows for resolution through understanding rather than just force. The environmental storytelling throughout Kirby's adventures reveals rich histories without explicit exposition. Ruined civilizations, abandoned bases, corrupted paradises all tell stories through their existence. This environmental narrative rewards observation and imagination. The power scaling in Kirby's universe, where the pink puff regularly defeats cosmic entities, subverts traditional power hierarchies. Size, age, experience, and apparent power matter less than heart, determination, and adaptability. This inversion is both humorous and profound. The various collectibles and optional objectives in Kirby's adventures provide layers of engagement for different players. Casual players can enjoy the main story, while completionists can dive deep into every secret. This layer design ensures everyone finds their own level of satisfaction. The boss patterns and phases that characterize major battles show that evil rarely gives up easily. Desperation leads to transformation. Defeat leads to rage. But ultimately, persistence and pattern recognition overcome raw power. The home base of Dreamland provides a constant touchstone across all adventures. No matter how far Kirby travels or how cosmic the threat, he always returns to those green hills and blue skies. The sense of home grounds the cosmic in the personal. The supporting cast development over time shows that Kirby's world allows for growth and change. Characters aren't frozen in their initial roles, but evolve based on experiences. This evolution makes the universe feel alive and dynamic. The various game mechanics that have been introduced and refined over time show a universe that expands while maintaining core identity. New abilities, new transformations, new allies all add rather than replace what came before. The meta-narrative of Kirby as both specific character and universal symbol shows how modern myths are created and sustained. Kirby is simultaneously a character in specific stories, an icon representing broader concepts. The preservation of innocence despite exposure to darkness makes Kirby unique among heroes. Most heroes are changed by their experiences, hardened by battles, shaped by trauma. Kirby remains unmarked by the darkness he faces, proving that innocence can be a choice, a form of strength rather than naivety. The seasonal changes that sometimes appear in Dreamland show a world with natural cycles beyond just the cycle of adventures. Spring brings new growth, summer brings abundance, autumn brings harvest, winter brings rest. These natural rhythms provide a peaceful backdrop to cosmic adventures. The various victory dances and celebrations Kirby performs after defeating enemies show that success should be celebrated, not taken for granted. Each victory, no matter how small, deserves recognition. This celebration of achievement adds joy to accomplishment. The way different abilities change Kirby's movement and interaction with the world shows that power isn't just about combat, but about new ways of experiencing reality. Flying as Wing Kirby offers different perspectives than rolling as Will Kirby. Each ability is a new lens through which to see the world. The cooperative mechanics and multiplayer modes show that Kirby's adventures can be shared experiences. Friends can help or hinder, create new possibilities or comic chaos. This social dimension adds unpredictability and joy to familiar adventures. The various costumes and visual changes that accompany abilities aren't just cosmetic, but represent temporary identities Kirby assumes. When he puts on the ninja headband or the fighter headband, he's not just gaining powers, but temporarily becoming that role. The underwater sections that appear in many adventures show a different physics and pace. Movement slows, jumping becomes floating, new enemies appear. These underwater areas provide variety and show that Kirby's adaptability extends to different environments. The cloud and sky sections where Kirby flies freely represent liberation from ground-based constraints. These moments of free flight contrast with the more structured platforming sections, providing breathing room and joy in movement. The various warp stars and transportation methods show that travel in Kirby's universe can be both functional and delightful. Getting from place to place becomes part of the adventure rather than just transition. The hidden areas behind fake walls are accessed through specific ability, reward experimentation and observation. The universe encourages players to try everything, touch everything, test every possibility. The various revival and recovery mechanics show that failure in Kirby's world is temporary and forgiving. Extra lives are plentiful, health restoration is available, continues are generous. This forgiveness encourages experimentation without fear. The story variations that occur based on player performance or choices show that Kirby's adventures can have different shadings while maintaining core narrative. The best endings reward thoroughness, suggesting that taking time to help everyone leads to the best outcomes. The cameo appearances of characters from other universes in special modes or events show that Kirby's world can accommodate visiting heroes while maintaining its own identity. These crossovers are playful rather than disruptive. The art books and supplementary materials that expand on Kirby's world reveal design philosophies and infuse concepts that enrich understanding. Seeing what could have been makes what is feel more intentional and considered. The music remixes and arrangements that appear across different games show themes evolving while maintaining recognition. Green Greens might be orchestral or electronic, but remains Green Greens. This musical continuity provides emotional through lines. The various difficulty spikes that occur in extra modes or true arenas show that Kirby's universe can accommodate both casual and hardcore players. The same world that welcomes children challenges veterans. The seasonal and holiday events that sometimes appear show Dreamland celebrating alongside the real world. These connections between game world and real world create a sense of shared experience and time. The various merchandising and media adaptations show Kirby translating across different forms while maintaining essential character. Whether animated, sculpted, or plush, Kirby remains recognizably himself. The speed running strategies that have developed show layers of depth beneath accessible surfaces. The same levels that can be played casually can also be optimized to incredible degrees. The various glitches and exploits discovered over the years show that even Kirby's world has cracks and imperfections that can be interesting rather than problematic. These quirks add character to the universe. The fan art and fan fiction that proliferate around Kirby show a universe that inspires creativity beyond itself. People want to add to this world, to explore its corners, to imagine new adventures. The philosophical debates about Kirby's true power level show that power scaling in his universe defies conventional logic. Is Kirby infinitely powerful? Does he scale to whatever threat he faces? These questions have no clear answers. The various spin-off games that explore different genres show Kirby's flexibility as a character and universe. Racing games, puzzle games, fighting games all work within Kirby's world without breaking its logic. The accessibility features that have been added over time show a universe becoming more welcoming to more players. Easy modes, assist features, and various accommodations ensure everyone can experience Kirby's adventures. The competitive scenes that have developed around certain Kirby games show that beneath the cute exterior lies potential for serious competition. The same mechanics that enable casual play can support high-level competitive play. The various anniversary celebrations and retrospectives show a universe aware of its own history and significance. These moments of reflection add weight to what might otherwise seem like simple adventures. The international variations and regional differences show Kirby adapting to different cultures while maintaining core identity. What remains constant and what changes reveals what's essential to the character. The various quality of life improvements added over time show a universe refining itself while maintaining core appeal. Better controls, clearer visual communication, and smoother difficulty curves make adventures more enjoyable without fundamentally changing them. The connections between different games in the series, from direct sequels to subtle references, create a sense of continuity and shared history. Each adventure builds on what came before while standing on its own. The various development stories and behind-the-scenes information reveal the human creativity behind Kirby's universe. Knowing how design decisions were made adds appreciation for the final results. The preservation efforts by fans and officials ensure Kirby's adventures remain accessible to future generations. This digital preservation is a form of cultural conservation. The various player strategies and approaches that have developed show there's no single right way to experience Kirby's adventures. Some players pursue completion, others speed, others style. All approaches are valid. The emotional responses Kirby's adventures evoke, from joy to sadness to triumph, show that simple-appearing games can create complex feelings. The emotional range possible within Kirby's cheerful universe is surprisingly broad. The various interpretations of Kirby's lore by different players show that ambiguity can be strength. By not explaining everything, the universe leaves room for imagination and personal interpretation. The comfort many find in returning to Kirby's adventures shows these games functioning as more than entertainment. They're comfort food, safe spaces, reliable sources of joy in an uncertain world. The way Kirby's adventures handle failure, with immediate respawning and generous checkpoints, shows a universe that encourages persistence without punishment. Failure is learning opportunity rather than harsh consequence. The various companion characters who sometimes join Kirby show that heroism can be shared experience. These companions each bring their own abilities and personalities, enriching the adventure. The environmental variety across different planets and dimensions shows a universe with infinite variety within consistent rules. Each new location brings new wonders while maintaining familiar gameplay. The boss rush modes that appear in many games show Kirby's greatest challenges condensed into pure action. These concentrated challenges reveal the mechanical depth beneath approachable surfaces. The various unlockable modes and features reward investment and mastery. The more time spent with Kirby's adventures, the more they reveal, creating a deepening relationship between player and game. The way Kirby's adventures balance nostalgia and innovation shows respect for history while embracing the future. Classic elements return, while new ideas keep things fresh. The various collaborative mechanics where players must work together show that some challenges require cooperation. These moments where solo play becomes team effort add social dimensions to adventure. The different perspectives offered by playing as other characters show Kirby's world from new angles. Playing as Meta Knight or King Dedede reveals different aspects of the same universe. The various artistic styles employed across different games show a universe unafraid to reinvent its visual presentation. From yarn to clay to traditional sprites, each style brings new charm. The way certain abilities combine or interact creates emergent gameplay possibilities. Discovering new combinations and techniques shows a universe with hidden depths. The various challenge stages that test specific skills show Kirby's mechanics isolated and refined. These focused challenges reveal the precision possible within approachable controls. The story breadcrumbs and lore hints scattered throughout adventures reward careful attention. Pause screen descriptions, background details, and hidden text create a deeper narrative for those who seek it. The way Kirby's adventures often end with reconciliation rather than destruction shows a universe that values redemption. Former enemies become friends, misunderstandings are resolved, and harmony is restored. The various transportation sequences between levels or worlds provide moments of spectacle and transition. These journeys on warp stars or through dimensional portals add scope to adventures. The way different games emphasize different aspects of Kirby's abilities shows a character with many facets. Sometimes the focus is combat, sometimes exploration, sometimes puzzle solving. The collectible nature of copy abilities encourages experimentation and completionism. Trying every ability, finding every variation, mastering every technique becomes its own goal. The way Kirby's adventures often comment on real-world issues through fantasy metaphors shows thoughtful design. Corporate exploitation, environmental destruction, and technological dangers appear in fantastical forms. The musical motifs that recur across different games create emotional continuity. Hearing familiar melodies and new arrangements triggers memories and associations. The way boss battles escalate in phases shows conflict as dynamic rather than static. Enemies adapt, become desperate, reveal true forms, creating dramatic arc within single battles. The various helper systems that assist struggling players show a universe that wants everyone to succeed. From invincibility items to skip features, these assists ensure everyone can experience the adventure. The way certain areas or challenges become legendary within the community shows shared cultural touchstones developing. Everyone remembers their first encounter with certain bosses or challenges. The various Easter eggs and references hidden throughout games reward knowledge and attention. These secrets create a sense of discovery and connection for dedicated fans. The way Kirby's simple design allows for endless expressive possibilities shows the power of minimalism. With just eyes and a mouth, Kirby conveys full range of emotions. The various movement abilities that don't relate to combat show that not every power needs to be weapon. Some abilities just make traversal more fun or exploration more thorough. The way certain games subvert established patterns keeps the universe fresh. When expectations are overturned, even veteran players experience surprise. The community traditions that have developed around Kirby games show cultural practices emerging from play. Speed run categories, challenge runs, and community events create shared experiences. The way different regions of the game world have distinct musical themes creates audio geography. Players can identify a location by melody, creating strong associations between place and sound. The various animation details that bring Kirby to life show care in presentation. Small touches like idle animations, reaction expressions, and physics responses create personality. The way certain abilities have evolved across games shows refinement and expansion of core concepts. Sword ability gains new moves, fire ability gains new properties, showing growth over time. The bonus content unlocked through achievement shows reward for excellence. Extra modes, concept art, and music players provide incentive for mastery. The way Kirby games often include genres within genres shows playful experimentation. Rhythm sections, racing segments, and puzzle areas provide variety within platforming framework. The various defensive and evasive options available show that combat isn't just about offense. Dodging, guarding, and strategic positioning matter as much as attacking. The way the camera works to keep action visible while maintaining spatial coherence shows technical excellence. Good camera work is invisible but essential to enjoyment. The various stage gimmicks that appear once and never again show creative abundance. Developers introduce ideas freely without feeling need to reuse everything. The way certain musical tracks become associated with specific emotions or moments shows the power of audio storytelling. Boss themes create tension. Victory fanfares create joy. Quiet moments create reflection. The physics of Kirby's world, consistent yet fantastical, create a believable unreality. Players learn the rules and operate within them, even if those rules defy real-world physics. The various multiplayer interactions possible show that Kirby's world accommodates different play styles. Cooperative, competitive, or parallel play all work within the same framework. The way games in the series reference each other creates sense of continuity and history. Callbacks, returning characters, and evolving relationships show a living universe. The various control schemes that have been implemented across different platforms show adaptability. Whether buttons, touch, or motion, Kirby's adventures translate across input methods. The way certain challenges require specific abilities shows thoughtful level design. Puzzles that need particular powers encourage experimentation and ability management. The narrative justification for gameplay mechanics show attention to world building. Why Kirby can inhale, why abilities transfer, why stars grant invincibility all have explanations within the universe logic. The way different games emphasize different emotions shows range within consistent tone. Some adventures are more comic, others more epic, others more mysterious. The various victory conditions across different modes show that success can be defined many ways. Sometimes it's about speed, sometimes completion, sometimes score, sometimes style. The way Kirby's adventures often begin peacefully before conflict arrives shows appreciation for calm before storm. These peaceful openings establish what's at stake when threats appear. As our 2-hour journey through Kirby's complete lore draws to its close, we can see that this Pink Heroes universe contains multitudes. From simple beginnings in Dreamland to cosmic battles against primordial forces, from copy abilities to ancient civilizations, from friendship to redemption, every aspect of this remarkable universe has been explored. The depth hidden within Kirby's accessible exterior shows that complexity and approachability need not be opposites. A game that children can enjoy can also contain lore that adults debate. A character that appears simple can represent profound concepts. A universe that seems cheerful can engage with serious themes. Throughout all these adventures, across all these transformations and battles and friendships, Kirby remains fundamentally himself. He doesn't need to become dark to fight darkness. He doesn't need to become complex to navigate complexity. His simple joy and determination prove sufficient for any challenge. The friends gathered along the way, from reformed villains to steadfast allies, show that Kirby's greatest power might be his ability to bring out the best in others. Through his influence, enemies become friends, friends become heroes, and heroes become legends. The mysteries that remain about origins and destinies and the true nature of the universe ensure that wonder persists. Not everything needs explanation. Some questions are better as questions, providing space for imagination and continued discovery. This universe of dreams and nightmares, of ancient technology and simple pleasures, of cosmic threats and afternoon naps, offers something for everyone. Whether you seek excitement or comfort, challenge or relaxation, depth or simplicity, Kirby's universe provides. As sleep approaches and this gentle exploration concludes, remember that in Kirby's universe, every ending is also a beginning. Every adventure completed makes room for new adventures. Every mystery solved reveals new mysteries. Every friend made expands the circle of light against the darkness. The pink puffball who arrived on a spring breeze has become a guardian of dreams, a warrior of joy, a hero who proves that power comes in many forms. His adventures continue, his universe expands, his influence grows. But at heart, he remains that simple, cheerful being who just wants to help friends and eat good food. Rest now, with the complete lore of Kirby's universe filling your dreams. From Dreamland to the edges of reality, from wispy woods to void to Mina, from copy abilities to ancient artifacts, every aspect of this remarkable universe has been gently shared. Let these stories guide you into peaceful sleep, knowing that somewhere in the cosmos, a small pink hero stands ready to face any threat with nothing more than determination, friendship, and an amazing appetite. The stars shine overhead, the fountain of dreams flows peacefully, and all is well in Dreamland. Sweet dreams, carried on the same spring breeze that once brought Kirby to a universe that needed exactly the hero he would become. The complete tale has been told, the lore fully explored, and now it's time for rest, just as Kirby himself would surely appreciate after such a long adventure.